World War I, also known as the Great War, was one of the deadliest and most transformative conflicts in human history. It shaped the 20th century, redrew borders, toppled empires, and left a legacy of trauma, politics, and memory that we still feel today. But how did it all begin? What happened during the war? And what were the consequences? This is the story of World War I, from the spark to the scars. Although the war began in 1914, the roots go much deeper. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Europe was a continent on edge. Several powerful forces were at play: militarism. Nations were building up huge armies and navies. War was seen not only as likely, but sometimes even as necessary. Alliances. Europe was divided into two main alliances. The Triple Alliance included Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Italy. The Triple Entente brought together France, Russia, and Britain. These alliances meant that a conflict between two nations could quickly pull in many more. Imperialism. European powers were competing for colonies in Africa and Asia. This global rivalry created tensions and conflicts overseas. Nationalism. Ethnic groups within empires, especially in the Balkans, wanted independence. National pride also drove competition and suspicion between countries. That spark came on June 28, 1914. Archduke Franz Ferdinand, heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne, was assassinated in Sarajevo, Bosnia, by Gavrilo Princip, a Bosnian Serb nationalist who wanted independence from the empire. Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia. When Serbia didn't meet its harsh demands, Austria declared war. But alliances kicked in. Russia backed Serbia, Germany backed Austria, France and Britain joined to stop German aggression. Within weeks, most of Europe was at war. Germany launched a quick attack through Belgium to invade France, known as the Schlieffen Plan. But Belgium resisted, and Britain entered the war. The Germans were stopped at the First Battle of the Marne, and both sides dug into trenches. This began the horrific stalemate of the Western Front. In the east, Russia fought Germany and Austria. Though less static, the Eastern Front was just as brutal. The war quickly spread beyond Europe, to Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. It became the first truly global war. The Western Front was defined by trench warfare, deep ditches stretching from the North Sea to Switzerland. Conditions were hellish: mud, rats, lice, constant shelling, and the ever-present threat of death. Soldiers fought for months to gain just a few meters of ground. This war saw industrialized killing. Machine guns mowed down entire battalions. Artillery caused massive destruction. Poison gas blinded and suffocated. Tanks and airplanes appeared for the first time in war, but in their early forms. It wasn't just soldiers who suffered. Civilians faced food shortages, bombings, and occupation. This was total war. In 1917, after years of bloodshed, a major shift occurred. Russia was collapsing from internal chaos. The Russian Revolution brought the Bolsheviks to power, and by 1918, Russia left the war. The United States, previously neutral, entered the war in April 1917. Why? Because of Germany's unrestricted submarine warfare, which sank civilian ships like the Lusitania. The Zimmermann telegram, in which Germany tried to get Mexico to attack the U.S. Fresh American troops and resources gave the Allies a crucial boost. Germany launched a desperate spring offensive in 1918, trying to win before American forces arrived in full strength. At first, they gained ground, but they were stretched thin. By mid-1918, the Allies launched a counterattack. With American forces joining the fight, German troops were pushed back. Morale collapsed. At home, Germans protested the war. Austria-Hungary and the Ottoman Empire were falling apart. On November 11, 1918, Germany signed an armistice. The fighting stopped at the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. World War I was over. The cost was staggering: over 16 million dead. Entire cities and landscapes destroyed. 4 empires collapsed: the German, Austro-Hungarian, Ottoman, and Russian empires. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the war. Germany was blamed and punished harshly. It lost territory, had to disarm, and was forced to pay massive reparations. But the treaty also sowed the seeds of resentment and instability, especially in Germany, that would eventually lead to World War II. World War I changed the world. Modern warfare was born. The League of Nations was created to prevent future wars, though it failed. New countries were formed. Old powers faded. Millions of veterans came home with physical and emotional scars. Entire generations were lost. And though people called it the war to end all wars, just 2 decades later, the world would be at war again. World War I was not just a tragedy of numbers. It was a turning point in human history. And remembering it is more important than ever. Thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new about World War I. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Echoes of the Past for more stories from history. See you in the next one.